Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Purposeful Pathway Radio, a place to refresh and revive, a haven with insights and inspiration, a pathway graced with passion and purpose. Join the journey and hear remarkable real-life stories of others as they travel their purposeful pathways. Welcome to Purposeful Pathway Radio. This is Gavin, your show host, founder of Purposeful Pathway Business Coaching, and also the author of Purposeful Pathway, Your Journey with Jesus. I invite you to join the Purposeful Pathway journey here on Blog Talk Radio each week and also on the website, purposefulpathway.com. Purposeful Pathway Radio is the haven for faith-based entrepreneurs. It is a journey in which faith and business gracefully intertwine. It is a pathway paved with purpose, peace, and passion. The guests on the show will share insights for faith-based business. They will also share inspirations from their spiritual journeys. My hope is that in listening, your businesses will grow and your lives will be enriched. My prayer is that these personal messages will allow God's peace, love, and joy to pave your purposeful pathways. It looks like Musico's phone line is having a situation, so let me just unmute her again. I apologize. Hi, Ann, are you there?
I'm here. I can't believe all the problems I had getting here, but I'm here.
I'm so glad you're here. Wonderful. I was hoping I saw that you weren't there, so welcome to the beauty of live radio. It looks like your phone is having a situation, so we're going to just keep going as best we can.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to just wanted to say that I'm excited that Ann Musico, the 3D Vitality Health Coach, and I, the Purposeful Pathway Business Coach, are coming together today to share strategies, insights, and inspiration for nurturing a healthy business, a healthy body, and a healthy life. So whether you're interested in boosting the bottom line or in shrinking the waistline, you will enjoy this show. So again, Ann, I'm so excited that you're here. This is going to be a lot of fun. The phone line is definitely static. Perhaps try calling back in, if that makes sense, although I don't want to lose you altogether. Okay, so we're going to, what I'll do, because, well, again, the beauty of live radio is that we do have technical difficulties from time to time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the business aspects first, and then we're going to tie back to Ann, and she is our health coach. So she's going to call back in, and hopefully the line will be a little bit less staticky on that end. As most of you know, Ann has been on the show a number of times before, and she is just rich with wisdom and with insights and with inspiration, particularly around 3D living. So again, I'm dividing this show into three sections: healthy business, healthy body, and healthy life. And as my focus is business coaching, I'm going to share the business aspects of that. So the first thing that I wanted to share is a very powerful tool for nurturing a healthy business is my 7-step Live on Purpose process. Because I reviewed this already in previous shows, I encourage you to listen to those shows if you haven't already. They're part of the series titled Poetry, Passion, Purpose, and a Pathway, and you'll find them in the archives at purposefulpathwayradio.com in the months of December 2012 and January, February, and March of 2013. In these shows, you're going to hear an overview of this trademark 7-step process, and you're going to enjoy practical and actionable tips and steps. So I encourage you to do this as your first action step for nurturing a healthy business. Now, the second action step that I'm going to share today for a healthy business is business journaling. I share this now because it's a very simple yet powerful practice. It's something that you can start right away, and it will bear great results for your business and for your life. Now, how do you journal for business? Honestly, there's a lot of different ways. But I'm going to share some examples of how I journal for my business. and hopefully you can apply at least some of these in your own business. The first one is brainstorming about marketing and product ideas. Now, when we're in the midst of activity during the busy business day, we can experience a stifling of our creativity. I'm sure you've all experienced that, where you're going from task to task to task, to client to client to client, and your creativity is going to be stifled in those conditions. So journaling in the morning before we enter that rush of activities stimulates creativity in a sacred space. This is where the ideas for marketing and for products and for other business ventures stream freely. So I encourage you to journal about marketing and product ideas when you have that fresh start to the day, when you have that sacred space. Another way to journal for your business is to sort out ideas triggered by an email or a conversation or a situation that occurred during the day. Switching from activity mode to contemplative thinking can really put a drag on the momentum of your business day. But sometimes things arise that require our deep contemplation, and it behooves us to really think through these things, even if not at the moment they arise. So I write down the topics, concerns, or questions in my journal at those particular moments. And these then serve as fodder for my journaling the next day, usually in the morning. Another way I journal for my business is working through problems. When we are busy with our businesses, we simply don't have time to mull over a problem or a challenge. Of course, sometimes, depending on the urgency of the matter, we don't have a choice, and we have to just go ahead, put everything on pause, and deal with the situation at hand. But in the events where I can postpone that contemplation period, I do. I'll take a note of the challenge, and then I'll journal about that challenge when I have that peaceful space to do so, and that's generally the next morning. Another way that I journal for my business is by visioning and dreaming for tomorrow. The journal is just a phenomenal forum for planting seeds and dreams for our future. When we savor a peaceful space, we can really hear God's whisper, and we can really see the vision that He's placed on our hearts. So, again, it's a great place for visioning and dreaming. Another way that I journal for my business is by stepping back. Overview is the fifth step of the 7-step Live on Purpose process. It would be the letter O in purpose. Often, however, it's really hard to step back when we're moving very quickly in our activities during the day. Journaling, however, gives us that precious space to step back and to really contemplate our goals and our activities and our results. We can review all of these and then make necessary adjustments along the way. So this is a powerful tool for goal achievement and for business growth. And another way that I journal is by seeing God in my business and making note of this. Journaling is just a wonderful way of seeing God's hand and His guidance in our businesses. We can just look back on previous entries and see how He's orchestrated events and connections and inspirations all in His perfect timing. So it's really powerful that for that reason alone, not to mention for the other practical reasons that we mentioned earlier. And last but not least, and again, there's a lot of other ways that you can use journaling, but I'm going to close out with this one, is I use it to consecrate my business to God. We can commit every single day, not only in our prayers, in our voice, but in written word, our lives and our businesses to God. There's a lot of power in the written word and in the typed word, because as we physically write or type these words, the words etch themselves on our hearts and in our minds. So I encourage you to use journaling to consecrate your business and, of course, your life to God. Now, of course, amidst our journaling and in all our business activities, God is always front and center. Deuteronomy 8:18 states, "But remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and so confirms His covenant, which He swore to your ancestors as it is today." So if you're not journaling specifically for your business, I encourage you to go ahead and try it. I think you will find it's a very valuable tool. And again, these are just some ways that you can journal, and it will really bear fruit for your business and also your life. And the third step that I have today for nurturing a healthy business is about client attraction. Most of us are in business, and we need to deal with clients or customers, and it's really important to be able to attract those clients and customers on a consistent basis. So I will be releasing a video series specifically on attracting clients quickly. So stay tuned to my updates on social media and on purposefulpathway.com regarding that free video series release. But I wanted to share some insights right now. For faith-based entrepreneurs, the idea of a target market can be very repelling because a light-filled soul is averse to thinking of clients as being essentially part of a target practice. Now, I don't know about you, but when I think of targeting, I think of a bullseye or a bow and arrow, and honestly, that's not how I want to think of my clients. My mission is to bring healing and joy and love and light. Now, all of that being said, there's a lot of value to the idea of a target market because we need to be laser-focused and specific. But instead of thinking of marketing as targeting, which sounds akin to targeting a prey, think about attracting. Reflect upon just who is specifically your ideal client. More often than not, in my own business and in those of my clients, we find ourselves stuck due to lack of clarity in this specific topic. Oftentimes, the ideal client of ours is hard to define. And particularly as we're starting, we may not have had many or any client experiences to really crystallize in our minds with whom we wish to work and with whom we don't. So even if you believe you're clear on your ideal client, or on the other side of the spectrum, if you're not sure at all who it could be, I encourage you to think diligently about this. This is a very important point, and we're going to work through it together right now with some questions. The first of which is, particularly if you're not new to your business, ask, who were your best clients in the past? Then ask, with whom did you enjoy working? Who received the strongest transformation from your work? Who is the most excited about working with you? Who gave you the best referrals? Who gave you the most referrals? And now, whether or not you're new to your business, ask yourself, who is the reason that you started your business, that person you desire to serve the most? Who do you see as God having placed on your heart to serve? With whom do you really enjoy working? And, of course, I'm not expecting you to conjure a picture of one specific person, although you may. The aim of this exercise is to create your client avatar. And I want to say, especially for those that have faith-based businesses, I'm sure that your services could help many, many people, if not all. But really, it's time to think about who is that specific person that you want to reach out to the most. What does he or she look like? How old is he or she? And what do they do for work? Are they married? Do they have children? What activities are they involved in? And I could go a lot more into this topic. And again, like I said, I have a series coming up soon. So stay tuned for that. But these are some 3 steps that you can apply today, which is to listen to and apply the 7-step Live on Purpose process by listening to archives from December, January, February, and March for the Poetry, Passion, Purpose, and Pathway series. And the second one is to start using business journaling. And the last is to think about your ideal client and how you can more effectively serve them and attract them for God's glory. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring on Ann so that she can speak to having a healthy body. So, Ann, it's Caroline. I hope your phone line sounds much better.
I hope so.
Oh, it sounds immeasurably better. Before it was complete static, I hear your beautiful voice. So wonderful. I'm glad. So, and I'm sure everyone can relate to how technology isn't always our best friend, especially at the times when we need it most. But I'm grateful that you sound, I hear your voice crystal clear now. So thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you for having me, and I love everything you said. And you know, it really is so wonderful to me that all of these principles, which originate in the Bible, they apply to everything. They apply to business. They apply to health. It's really a beautiful thing. Where you were talking about journaling, which I happen to do. I happen to write my prayers every morning. I love doing that. I also, for health purposes, always recommend that people keep a fitness log, even if you're not trying to lose weight. I mean, I don't particularly have to lose any weight, but I keep a log every week. I write down all my meals, and I write down all my exercises, what I do each day, what I plan it ahead, and then I keep track, and if anything changes, I keep track of it. And this way, when you weigh yourself, however often you do it, I happen to do it once a week, if you gain or lose, you can see what you did differently, and you can go back, and it's a wonderful resource. I also suggest that people put their faith confessions in there, and I definitely recommend that they speak faith words over themselves every single day. It's just healthy living is such a vital piece to living a life of greatness. When we're healthy, we have clarity, and we radiate this inner power through our actions and our presence, and that flows into our everyday lives, in our relationships, our communities, our personal development, our stewardship, and our careers. And how you feel directly affects how you act. So if you're not feeling great, you won't really be able to effectively get things done. And when you neglect your health, you can easily miss being the best you can be. So feeling good about yourself physically is empowering, and it helps you do what God has called you to do, and feeling good in your spirit and in your soul, which is your mind, your will, and your emotions, are, extremely important. I mean, most people look at being healthy as just not being sick, but real health is much more than the absence of just major illness, and each aspect of our lives, spirit, soul, and body, really impact each other, and if one is out of balance, it's going to affect the others. So that's why I always approach health in a very holistic, biblical way. One of the foundational scriptures for my coaching and my website is 1 Thessalonians 5:23, and it says, that God wants us to be whole, spirit, soul, and body, and spirit is first. And that's very important, because if God says spirit is first, we have to realize that we cannot overlook that and think, healthy weight or I have to look good. That doesn't come first. Being spiritually healthy is really important. Your health really does relate very strongly to business. It's funny that for many years it's been known that oxygen raises the frequency of your body. We're all energetic beings. And energy moves much more slowly through tight muscles. So relaxing your body, breathing deeply, and increasing oxygen intake are very key in raising your frequency. And when you feel stuck, maybe you're stuck somewhere in your business. You just need to move ahead, or, there's something you need to do in a relationship and you're kind of stuck. Many times cleaning up your diet, improving your nutrition, losing some excess weight, and improving your habits also energizes you, and it helps you to be more optimistic and more open to ideas, and you tend to think more clearly. And it really doesn't have to be complicated. One of the basic principles that I use when working with clients, no matter what the issue is what I call baby steps. And that's just making a series of small, doable changes gradually. And then before you know it, you have successfully changed your lifestyle and your habits, and actually your health. These create momentum and they build confidence. If you work on changing one habit for 2 weeks, according to the research, either adding one thing or removing something, the success rate is about 85%. If you try to make 2 changes at a time, the success rate drops to 30%. So,
wow, that's a big drop.
yeah, so making one baby step doesn't seem like it would make much of a difference, but they're really a very powerful thing. I mean, cutting 100 calories a day can translate into losing 10 pounds over a year. That's all you would have to do. You could replace, and that's not really that hard to do. If you drink soda, which I really hope most people don't, but if you do, replacing one 12-ounce can of regular soda would be, cutting 140 to 165 calories a day. And that's a simple baby step anybody can do. Just replace it with water. So it's very effective. And really, the basis of good health, I believe, is that we focus our meals around real food. Today, our food supply is very compromised. There are, genetically modified foods. There are antibiotics and chemicals and hormones fed to cattle and fertilizers and things sprayed on our produce. Eating food in a form as close to how God created it as possible is the most important thing I think anybody can do, and that's what I call no-nonsense nutrition. Eating non-genetically modified, fresh, organic, properly raised, food from cattle that's raised and fed, their native diet, and vegetables that are grown organically as much as possible. And, we're told in Genesis that we are given every green plant and herb. And researchers actually recently discovered a gene which is essential for producing critical immune cells in your digestive system. And the gene protects your body from bad bacteria in your intestines. But it responds to the foods you eat, specifically leafy green vegetables. I mean, sometimes it takes science a little bit of time to catch up to God, but we can never go wrong doing what God says. And this is just one example of that. Plant foods are rich in chemicals called phytochemicals, and they reduce inflammation. They eliminate cancer-causing substances. They regulate the rate at which your cells reproduce. I mean, they do so many good things for you, and studies repeatedly show that people with higher vegetable intake are healthier overall. I don't happen to be a vegetarian or a vegan, but the basis of my meals is fresh vegetables. And I suggest that be the case, for people, whether they only eat vegetarian or they eat, meat as well, and to pick the highest quality of the foods that you are able to afford. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And those are some really powerful points for a healthy body, but they extend beyond healthy body into healthier living, because the focus is always first and foremost the spirit. But in order to nurture our lives and serve God, we have to nurture this temple of the Holy Spirit, and that is by feeding it the best foods. That's why I'm so excited about your programs, because you always focus on what's of foremost importance, but you also tie in the practical and the scientific to support that.
Thank you. Well, I find it fascinating.
We have a caller on the line, so I thought we could take the caller and then we could close out with some ideas about healthy living in general, which we've already touched on. I think it's pretty evident that both of us work for a mind, body, and spirit, and so that we're always looking at an integration, but we can close out with that. But let's take the caller for a moment.
Sure.
Hi, this is Caroline.
Did I understand right that there's a correlation between mind, body, and soul? And that if you keep all those healthy, that your chances for success are much better in achieving total wellness?
Absolutely.
I would think so, absolutely. It's great to have you calling, Mike.
Well, I wasn't going to miss out this time. I got a somewhat hectic day going here, but I wanted to just kind of see how everything was going there. And after I tried to get in a couple times, I finally decided to go with my cell phone. So I hope that's not causing a problem. But I was just listening to some of the things that Ann was talking about, and that's one of the things that her and I have agreed on so much in the past and still agree on, is that the importance of having all of those faculties, your mind, your body, your spirit, all those things all together. And with those things in good health, it makes it so much easier going through life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I appreciate how you really do pour your heart and your soul in heart and soul health coaching, and that you agree that we really have to look at the whole picture. When we just look at one area of life and neglect the others, there is no way that we are able to serve God or serve others effectively. So thank you for calling. I really appreciate your encouragement and your support. It means a lot to both of us.
Thank you, Mike.
You're both welcome. I'm honored to be a whole part of being together with you two and going forward and trying to help spread this word, because it certainly is something that's very worthwhile, and a lot of folks don't put it all together.
True.
I agree with you.
There's more than just going to the gym. There's more than eating right. You have to have your spirit and your mind, all those things all together. And when we have that, we're going to be much better off. So I'm just going to sit here and listen for the rest of the show. You girls have fun out there.
Thank
you.
Thank
you. And it's all the more fun because you joined us. I really appreciate your taking the time to call in and join the conversation. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Great. So I thought what we could do, I'm going to give a couple of updates, and then we can close out with just some final thoughts on healthy living. I think we covered that pretty well, but I'd like to have some closing thoughts on that. But I'll go ahead and give a couple of updates. First of all, I invite everyone to join me next Wednesday, May 1st. Dan Miller, president of 48 Days, will join the show. Dan specializes in creative thinking for increased personal and business success. He believes that meaningful work blends our natural skills and abilities, our unique personality traits, and our dreams and our passions. Dan is active in helping individuals redirect careers, evaluate new income sources, and achieve balanced living. He believes that a clear sense of direction can help us to be all that God designed us to be. Dan is the author of the New York Times bestselling 48 Days to the Work You Love, No More Dreaded Mondays, and Wisdom Meets Passion. He has been a guest on CBS, The Early Show, MSNBC's Hardball with Chris Matthews, Mooney Midday Connection, and The Dave Ramsey Show. And so I am very excited to have him come here next week on Purposeful Pathway Radio. You can join us Wednesday the 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And as always, if you can't join live, you can enjoy the archive at purposefulpathwayradio.com. And second, I want to remind you that a powerful complement to the journey we take here on the radio show is the 7-week journey to joy. Rich with scriptural insights, practical step-by-step guidance, and poetic inspiration, the Journey to Joy workbook is a gift for me when you sign up for the free newsletter at howtolivejoyfully.com. So Ann and I just wanted to close out with some ideas for healthy living as a whole. We gave you ideas for healthy business and healthy body, but I think it's really important that we drive home the point that it's so important that we nurture all areas of our life because we are integrated beings, and so our nurturing must be from an integrated standpoint.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so much, and I'm so excited that we're doing this. And I want to share also with everyone listening that Ann and I are going to be releasing a program specifically for having a healthy business, a healthy body, and a healthy life. So stay tuned for that. It will be a 40-day program, and I believe it will be not only very affordable but also very transformational to anyone that applies what we are providing. So I'm really excited about that, and thank you again, Ann, for being a frequent guest to the show and for sharing your wisdom and your insights so generously with me and with everybody.
Well, thank you for having me, Caroline, and I'm very excited about working with you on that as well.
And I wanted to share, too, that we are doing this again. I know we only scratched the surface of what we wanted to share here. It seems like the time flew. I don't know about you, but it's like, wow. So we're going to do this again, and so we'll get to share even more with everyone, and that will be on May 15th. That will be the second part of this series called Healthy Business, Healthy Body, and Healthy Life. So I encourage everyone to stay tuned for that. So, again, thank you, Anne, for joining us again, and I'm so excited that your phone is sounding so much better. It's so great to hear your voice and to hear your wisdom.
Thank you for having me again, and I'm sorry it was a little problem at the beginning, but I'm very grateful that it all got straightened out.
Oh, don't apologize. That is just technology, and I think, it makes us that much more agile when we can deal with these technical difficulties at the last minute. So no worries at all. I think we were able to pull it off, and I'm so grateful to you for being here. And I'm also grateful for everyone that is listening to the show and for all the faithful supporters of Purposeful Pathway Radio. I pray that God continues to bless each and every one of you on your purposeful pathways.